Hey guys, how are you doing today? I've got something a little bit different for you. This is going to be a post commentary of Monotype Premier League Week 2 and the live recording of my Game 3. Of my Week 3. Now, I couldn't get the live recording for Week 2 as I was on vacation. So I'll be doing a post commentary, which I'm usually not a fan of. I think it's a lot cooler to watch it live and see the perspective of the person who's playing, which is why I do my videos in the style that I do. But for this one, we'll have to go over it post commentary. So this week I'm bringing a mono poison team versus mono normal. And immediately when I see this team preview, there's one thing in my mind, and that is this Diggersby Scarf? Because Scarf Diggersby is an absolute menace for my team. It can pretty much come close to 2-hit KO or KO everything on my team with one of its stab moves. And if Chansey gets rocks up, which is not particularly hard for it to do, given that I'm a team full of passive mons and special attackers, then those 2-hit KOs start becoming guaranteed. So that's my first and most immediate concern. Now, I do have some things going for me. I have Toxic Spikes, Toxapex, and if I can manage to get T-Spikes up, his only defogger is Mega Pidgeot, which is definitely a threat in its own right, but it's not completely unpunishable. Like, Salazzle can live a hit and Toxic it back, and if it gets badly poisoned, then it's really good for me. So if I can put the Pidgeot on a timer and get Toxic Spikes up, and deal with the Diggersby, then I'll be in a pretty good spot. For example, I have a Curse Muck, which can deal with the majority of their team. As you'll see, mini spoiler in the battle, he does have a Ditto, which can come in and knock my Figgy Berry to disrupt the recycle, because if you knock off the berry, recycle no longer works. The berry has to be consumed. But in that scenario, ideally, I would have it poisoned. So those are kind of all the thoughts that are going through my head at team preview. And we'll see what happens turn 1. So he leads Diggersby, I lead Nidoking. I'm like, okay, this is really giving off a Scarf Diggersby vibe, because specifically it's so good into my team. He knows Nidoking is my only rocker. He knows rocks are good versus him. And he knows I might be the type of player that would want to put up offensive pressure immediately. So this Nidoking has approximately a 32% chance to live a return or a frustration from Scarf Diggersby, Adamant Nature. And my Ice Beam does 97 minimum. So that is fairly favorable for me. But if he clicks Earthquake, of course, I would lose my Nidoking, and that would be really, really bad. I don't think he's going to click Earthquake, because I could easily go into Crobat. He knows Crobat is something I could go into now, given that it has Rocky Helmet. I could scout him out a little bit, but mostly I make a bit of an aggressive play. I think he might greed the return on my Nidoking, and he goes for the turn, and Nidoking dies to a crit. Now, that's not the most unlucky thing. He still had a fair shot to KO me, but that was really the decisive turn of this battle, as I'm really going to struggle to do anything else. I lost one of my most important mons, got nothing out of the turn, and now I'm going to have a really tough time breaking much of anything. So he gets up Stealth Rocks, and immediately the situation is looking very grim, because he still has his Diggersby at full, he still has Mega Pidgeot, he still has Ditto. I will never be able to get up Stealth Rocks, and I've done 0% to anything, and he's got up Rocks, and my most important Mon is down. So this is looking very, very bad. I do get up T-Spikes on the switch. I try to scald the Beware. He sets up a sub. Very bad for me. I know he's going to SD, so I click Haze. He's going to SD again. I scald that time, and this time I just have to sack off my Toxapex. Now, at this point, it is a small victory for me because this basically confirms it is a known Beware set. The set is Swords Dance, Substitute, Drain Punch, and Thunder Punch, so I know that my Mega Venusaur can wall it pretty easily. So I go into Salazzle because it has Beware has Fluffy. I'll be able to Flamethrower it, and I have T-Spikes up, so I get a Flamethrower off. It's not high value, but I do get it off to chip down the Chansey. I protect to chip him a little more, but he gets the soft-boiled play right. I was just trying to get some leftovers. And now there's a situation where my Toxic Spike Mon is fainted, and I have to click Defog so that my Mons aren't being 2-hit KO'd by rocks. Because everything now is pretty much 2-hit KO'd after rocks from that Diggersby. Instead of opting to Defog, however, I figure, okay, maybe he can just do it for me, because Toxic Spikes are pretty bad for him. So on the turn that he opts to Defog, I try to call it, but he goes for a Hurricane, and this basically forces me to switch out. And this time he does go for the Defog. Toxic Spikes are gone, his rocks are gone, but he's going to have no problem getting them back up. And here's that Ditto situation I mentioned earlier. He can knock me off. I'm forced to go Venusaur, and I try to make an aggressive play there, thinking he'd switch back out into Chansey. It did not work out. I lose my Crobat. So by this point, the game is pretty much completely over. There's nothing I can do. I have absolutely no breaking power left, and my entire team loses to Diggersby. And that's pretty much how the game is going to play out. I do my best. I force him into Ditto. I go for a Curse. I go back to Venusaur. And on this turn, I go for a Giga Drain, just trying to get some HP back. And this turn, I actually do try to get him on a throw and go for the Giga Drain crit on the Diggersby. But even if I had gotten the crit, it would still have been an incredibly difficult position for me. And the crit doesn't come. He just U-turns out. He goes into Porygon 2, gets a special attack boost, another Mon that walls me. And I managed to knock it, but it's completely futile at this point. I'm completely out of win cons. So I Sludge Bomb a few times. P2 switches out. He goes into Chansey. I Sludge Bomb again. I'm doing my best, but really it's all meaningless. He goes into Ditto. We have like this little exchange of Sludge Bombs. And at this point, I try to get the KO on him with Sludge Bomb. Barely miss out, don't get the poison. Go back into Muck. At this point, I'm just trying to get one last KO. And I do manage to Pursuit Trap this Pidgeot. But, of course, after that, Diggersby is just going to come in and clean up the whole entire game with Earthquakes. So, unfortunate, my matchup wasn't great, and the crit at the beginning really sealed it. So, yeah, that's my week 2, and I wanted to show it to you all nonetheless. And, yeah, so now we'll skip to the live recording of Game 3. See you guys there. Alright, so this is week 3 of Monotype Premier League, and we have a Dragon versus Ground matchup. Now, my Como looks pretty good here. I can't lie, Como looks pretty good. It depends what set this Mamoswine is. Like, is he banned? Does he have a Scarfer? Like, he might be Scarflando, for example. My Kyurem can do a lot here. What I'm mainly worried about, though, are his Nidoking and Mamoswine. So Garchomp is most likely going to be rocks. Lando might be like sub-gravity, although that might be more of a Gen 8 set. How much is Kyurem doing to a Mega Steelix? Dragonite might just be a decent lead, honestly. But would I want to keep it? What would you lead? If he leads Mamoswine, and he's like Bandit, that could be kind of bad. Because that's OHKOing my Garchomp. I'm assuming he's never Melt Ice, though. I imagine you could lead Chomp. I feel like you wouldn't lead Lix. I'm just going to lead Kyurem. Kyurem matches up well into a lot. Although it doesn't match up great into the Mamoswine. Actually, I do have the Terravolt, so I'd be doing a lot. Alright, I'll lead Kyurem. We do see the Garchomp. Now, this could be a Z-Chomp. In which case, I'm in a pretty tough situation. This could also just be Stealth Rock. He doesn't know if I'm Scarf Kyurem or not, because sometimes these run Scarf. If he just lets off a big Dragonium, that would be kind of bad. I think... Do I want to go Latias as a mid-ground? Because then, if I go Latias, I cannot defog. Tough. I feel like you would be Z on this team. Maybe I go Dragonite because it's not as useful. Hard to say. Tough decision to make. He does stay in and just go for the Z, and I just get absolutely nuked. So I'm going to go Latias here, and this should threaten him out. I'm going to go into my own Garchomp as he probably switches out into Steelix or Gastrodon, and I'm going to get up my Stealth Rocks. Losing D-Knight straight out of the gates is not fun, though. It's really kind of a gamble. Because he could have thought I was Scarf. He could have led with something else. So here I'm just going to try to get rocks up. I don't know if these Gastrodon run Clear Smog. I feel like they don't. Yeah, there is the Gastro. And since his defogging looks pretty weak, I am just going to go for a Stealth Rock. I also have Taunt on my Como, but that's kind of concerning for, like, getting burned by a Scald, for example, if he goes for that. Although I do have Clanging Scale, so that's pretty good. He just Toxics me here. I mean, I can Toxic him. Do I really care about that, though? Or is he just going to go into his Steelix now? You wouldn't Toxic again, would you? If I remove Steelix, Altaria does become a lot better. But at the same time, he doesn't really do that much to my Garchomp. So I think I'm going to go for 1 EQ. He goes Lando. Okay. I think I'll try to Toxic this. He's Scarf and I miss the Toxic. That's not good. That's not good. It means he's outspeeding Como-o, most likely. Maybe I switch to Como-o here, because I don't think you go into Nidoking or anything. Maybe you go Mamoswine. Surely you don't want the Como-o to set up on you, though. It's tough. I think I'll try to get Como-o in. If he goes for an Outrage, he'll end up dying. Right, he goes Nidoking. This thing can Ice Beam me. So hard. I'll go Kyurem. He goes for an Ice Beam. I almost feel like I have to go for a Roost. Will he click Earth Power? Will he click Toxic? We'll see. We can try and Beta Toxic on the sub. I can also go Gastrodon. Let's see what he does. I meant go Latias. Right, he does go for a Scald, so we can see how much this Ice Beam is going to do. Does a lot. I can try to just go for another one, honestly. Okay, I managed to take it down with the help of a crit. I really want to get Como-o up, because I still have Como-o and I still have Healing Wish. I don't think you want to go for the Outrage here. I'm going to go Laddie. And I don't think... Should I go for the Defog here? Or is that not worth it? I kind of just want to drop a Draco. And this thing is going to be forced to rest. So I can go Garchomp here and make him take helmet damage. I still don't know if you want to click Outrage here. I'm going to do it again. And this time, I think I want to click Defog. So if I go Defog and he goes Mamoswine, he will get a kill on my team, but I like the idea of getting more Ice Beams with Kyurem. So he should switch here, expecting Garchomp to come in. But I can go my own Garchomp, because that would force the same Outrage lock situation I described. I can also go Altaria and click Mega. He could be forced into Ice Shard. I think I'll go Garchomp again. Because forcing him into Mamoswine is not too bad for me. He does go Mamoswine. Is he going to Shard or not? I will be giving up rocks here, but I think that's kind of acceptable. If he's Choice Band, this is better for me. I can go Curem here. And I think I just go for the Ice Beam. I could Roost, but would you go into Garchomp here? I don't think you would. Is there any benefit to roosting? Honestly, I'm not sure. I'll just go for an Ice Beam. He did go Garchomp, and I get it on the Ice Beam. Alright. That's good. I think I'll Roost here, because if he locks into EQ, I can Como-O him. So I'll go into Como-O and click my move. Does this mean I lose to Mamo? I don't know. Maybe I go into Altaria. No, I think I go for it. If he's Choice Band, Jolly, this has a 31% chance to KO. If he's Adamant, that chance increases a lot. I think I have to go for a Drain. I don't get it. Alright. Laddie, I guess, can drop a Draco. I can go for a Frustration here, but yeah, it's not going to do anything. Good game. Hey again, guys. Since I did the first section in the post-commentary style, I wanted to review this and talk about a few optimizations that I think I could have made this game. And the first one is the preview, the team preview analysis and the lead. Now, I wasn't totally sure what he was going to lead with, but if I thought about the sets, it could have been fairly clear. So on these teams, you need some type of speed control. So the only viable Scarfer is Scarf Lando. You're not going to have like Garchomp be Scarf. You're going to have the Lando be Scarf because it gets U-turn. Furthermore, I could have used metagame knowledge to determine that Steelix usually isn't Stealth Rocked. It's usually Rest Talk in this gen. So that leaves really one or two viable Stealth Rockers. So I could have narrowed it down to either Garchomp or maybe Mamoswine. And if I it's a bit of a leap, but if I kind of said, you know, I'd rather have a Scarf Chomp, or a Rocks Chomp than a Rocks Mamoswine, which does make sense because you want that strong priority, I could have narrowed it down to Garchomp being the lead. And combine that with the fact that Garchomp also has to have the Z because nothing else is running the Z on this team. You could be Double Dance Lando, but then you'd be lacking speed control. So narrowing that down, I could have determined that Garchomp is the lead. And had I narrowed that down, the play would have been to lead Laddie and then make a double back into my own Garchomp in front of the Steelix to get up rocks first. Instead, I let him just instantly KO my Dragonite. So I think if I had to do this again, I would have led Lati and then made some type of double because he wouldn't stay in on that. And the second optimization that I wanted to point out was on this turn right before I set up with Komo. So I Ice Beam the Garchomp because I figure maybe he's suspicious of the Roost, and if he keeps playing aggressively or just makes sure I don't get my Kyurem back, then he probably has a good shot to win with Mamoswine. So I do manage to call the Garchomp coming in on the Ice Beam, and now there's this turn. Now, it's pretty certain that he's going to go for the EQ here because he isn't too scared of Lati or Altaria at the moment. What I could have done was go into my own Lati. Now, he could have clicked Stealth Rock and then gone Mamoswine. That could have been an option he could have done. But if I thought he was going for the EQ, which he ended up doing, what I should have done was go Latias and click Healing Wish. The reason is, yes, I don't have any Mons that would need the healing other than Kyurem, but what this would do, likely, is allow me to bring in Komo in front of Steelix. So I Healing Wish, and then I release the Z move on the Steelix, and end up not taking a whole lot of damage from his Heavy Slam, and get to do a lot more damage than I ended up doing. However, in this situation, it is worth noting that he, after Steelix was KO'd, would go Lando to chip me into Mamoswine Ice Shard range, and then most likely just win with Mamoswine Ice Shard, like you saw happen anyway. But maybe if he had some crazy throw, I could have won somehow, which is why it still could have been an optimization. Alright, see you guys later and have a good day.